A huge part of Mario Kart are the different elements to all the different tracks. From Goombas walking around on stages, little ramps for our drivers to trick off, or even the booster panels. However, for some reason, I really want to know how many tracks are possible without using these pesky panels. For starters, here are the rules. They are quite simple. When I say a booster panel, I mean these orange ones, typically located on the floor of a track. I do not mean anything in the air or the glider panels either, just orange booster panels. Got it? Nice. The next thing I'll clarify is that I'll be testing levels where I feel like some needs to be tested. Certain levels are obviously doable without touching any booster panels, so all of these here shown on screen will be left out to save us both some time. A track counts as doable if I complete one single lap. Apart from the tracks with multiple stages, those have to be completed to 100%. All tracks will be tested on 200cc time trials, and I do get to use my free mushrooms. I won't be using any TAS or similar bots, just my own human finger inputs. With a lack for anything else to say, let's head on over to... Twisted Mansion is one of the first courses that really felt impossible. However, since this was one of the first ones I actually had to test, it was quite simple. All you really have to do is take the right path underwater, and because of the water physics, you can easily hop over the panels. Shy Guy Falls went fast. Just use Lakitu to jump over the ramp at the start and avoid any sneaky panels on the waterfall. That's all there's to it. Thank God this course was way easier than imagined. There's only a single panel to actually dodge, which is the one at the start, and all I needed to do was a frame perfect jump and fall out of bounds behind it. After that, at the runway, just hug the wall and you won't even touch them. For Dolphin Shoals, I just took the middle path before the eel and jumped out of bounds right before the eel, and then it's very easy to clear it without using any panels. Mount Wario was practically free. The only danger is on lap 2 in my opinion, avoiding the moving panels at the dam. However, the third lap was the actual danger. We're gonna need some precise movement here. We start by jumping over the somewhat hidden panel at the start and carefully dodging the next smaller ones. After that, we use a little trick. This trick will be used a lot in this challenge, so pay attention. By dashing into the wall with our shrooms and jumping at the same time, we store our speed, making us go high enough to fly over the panels. With some very good timing, we can jump right on over them and fly right into the goal. Cloudtrip Cruise was an easy one. Honestly, this one just requires Lakitu doing hard work at the start and then using common sense at the Thundercloud area. Bowser's Castle only had 2 panels to avoid. The first one had a pretty big hitbox, bigger than the actual texture, so I couldn't pass it easily. However, I just let Lakitu do the work again, and that made it very easy. For the second one, I just boosted and jumped over it with a mushroom to easily skip right over. Royal Raceway was a course that seemed impossible at first, since I wasn't sure on how to dodge the panels at the runway. However, this was quite easy, you could just hug the wall. Had the bush at the second panel been just a bit closer, this would have been way harder, if not impossible. DK Jungle started out with a pretty finicky jump. The placement was quite small, so it was hard to line up. However, it was doable. After that, we can either jump off these small platforms or just fly over them with the glider, and then this course is as good as done. Wario Stadium was just a classic case of dried right next to them all. Easy as pie, nothing more to say about this course. Sherbet Land. For this one, all you gotta do is just refuse the urge to go into the lake. There's no booster panels that aren't underwater on this course. For Melody Motorway, all I had to do was bounce into the fence near the drum jump. Doing that, you can skip over the panel and once again have Lakitu do the hard work, lifting you onto the other side. Once again, we're giving our driver some well-deserved blunt force trauma by headbutting straight into the wall, letting us hop over these panels. The timing on this one is very tight, but also very doable if you just have some patience. For N64 Rainbow Road, we just have to use Mushroom immediately, or almost immediately, to launch over the first panel and carefully avoiding the next ones. After that, it's free. Just don't let your muscle memory get the best of you at the end and almost use the panels there. Mute City had some tight jumps. First up, I loaded up on coins near the start and then avoided all the tiny panels. Then dash right here into the wall just to barely jump over the dash panel. Then at the next panel, boost with a mushroom and hop over it via the right side. Just make sure to not touch the finish line. Starting at the second lap, it changes teams and secretly also becomes a panel, so make sure to just keep one mushroom to hop over it without any problem. For Wario's gold mine, I just had to jump around the first very sneakily placed panel, and then you're almost already in the clear. If you use a shroom at this ledge to clear it using Lakitu, then we're all good.
Baby! That's what I've been waiting for! That's what it's all about!
By taking this little ledge here on Cheeseland next to this deadly booster panel, we can mushroom jump right over it and clear the course. By just doing the same jump twice in two different locations, this course stands no match against us. Big Blue was the worst between the two evils. When I thought Mute City was hard and took forever to lab, this course made that look like child's play. Jump here on the first lamp to simply skip right over these panels. However, we're not even close to done. You can jump over the second finish line, avoiding the boost panel it is turned into. We're still not done though. After taking an extremely sharp left turn, we can stop before landing on the finish line at the end of the second lap. Then we can jump over on this little ledge with a mushroom, and the Lakitu will lift us to the other side again. Finally, dodge all the moving panels, and then continue dodging the other panels until finally and slowly reaching the end. For Coconut Mall, all we really have to do is take the top path. The bottom path is way too difficult. Use the sloped part at the top section and just jump right over the boost panel using the glider and finishing the lap. On Mushroom Gorge, just follow the path I'm taking and hop off the ledge right here. Good things come to those who jump, or something like that. By using the slanted part next to the first jump, we can easily skip the first panel. Then, just use the headbutt technique from Mute City or Mount Wario and hop over the last one near the end as well. The sheer amount of panels on 3DS Rainbow Road make this course feel very intimidating. But fear not, dear viewers. We can just put Lakitu back to work and let him do the heavy lifting at all of these first jumps. Then, do a very long mushroom jump right here and the same at Saturn's rings. Just be careful at the end tunnel not to slip up, and 3DS Rainbow Road is ours. Upon arriving to the toll gates on Moonview Highway, it looks quite impossible. There's no way to jump over it, not even with mushrooms. However, this course has a trick. One of my best friends is on this course, being the funny Kart with the surfboard. By grabbing a ride from him, he gracefully carries us over the panel. From there, we just have to make sure not to drive all too recklessly, and we pass this course with flying colors. And of course without panels. Bowser's Castle Free from the SNES was quite a simple track. All you have to do is just dive right off the edge right here and let Lakitu do your job. However, as much as I do want to clear every track without using any boosters, so far we've only been able to complete 89 tracks. However, the last 7 seem realistically impossible to me, even with our mushroom jumps or Lakitu's crazy help. GBA Mario Circuit and Animal Crossing share the same issue, where the panel itself doesn't cover the gap, but the collision of the panel does, leaving us with an uncalled for mean boost. While Luigi Pinball has you drive over 3 boost panels with no easy way to get over them. I think that the last one is doable, but there's no way for the first 2. Maple Treeway would be completely possible if it wasn't for this singular ramp right here. Same goes for Singapore Speedway with this huge ramp right here. Koopa Cape hits us hard with 5 forced panels, yet there's one track who takes the forced panel cake, being Wii Rainbow Road, giving us at least 8 panels our oh so clean wheels have to drive over. This does lead us to the fact that 89 tracks are possible and only 7 aren't. For a game with such a huge variety in its tracks, I still feel very proud of this result. However, I do secretly hope this will change in the future.